The Road to Macstock with Joe McKinley. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by our Patreon subscribers. Get access to the MacVoices Slack, the MacVoices Discord, MacVoices After Dark, and have your name listed at the end of each episode of MacVoices. Sign up at patreon.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the Talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, once again, this is a Road to Macstock show, talking to the speakers, the presenters, anyone else associated with Macstock that we think you should know about or that we can get scheduled before we all go to Crystal Lake, Illinois in July for a weekend of camaraderie and information and just plain fun. Speaking of fun, this time we have Jill McKinley back. She is, Jill, what, do I have it right? Third time speaker at Macstock?
Yes, this will be my third time.
Third time. So first of all, welcome back to the show and welcome back to Macstock. I'm really anxious to see what you come up with this time.
Well, yeah, me too. No, I'm just kidding. I know what I'm going to talk about. We're all good.
I say this every time that I do not know what you're talking about because I've asked Mike to give me the names of the presenters, but not the topics, and I haven't peeked through the website. So okay. I go into this cold because I think it makes for a better conversation. But what are you going to bring to the table this time?
Well, the gist of this is that I'm trying to talk about how you buy a phone, you buy a device, and most people leave it how it was out of the box. You know, maybe they put a few favorite icons on their desktop or photo thing, and they try, to make it something of their own. But I don't think people go far enough because the iPhone has the capability to support our activities, our habits, our goals by adapting the screens, the focus modes, the shortcuts, so that you can actually create a phone that is built for you, that supports your habits and what you want to look at. And with the focus modes too, you're able to switch them up time of day, during meetings, have different setups for them. And so it's hopefully encouraging people. I kind of last year had this take that you already bought all these Apple devices. Why not use it to help you with your health? This one is you bought all these Apple devices. Why not use this so it can shape what you see, how you act, your habits, the things that you're trying to pay attention to at any given moment. So it actually is not you being a slave to your phone, but you actually being in control of what you see and do, and then focusing on the things you care about the most.
That's a really interesting approach. I'm afraid that there are a lot of people out there that, and I would be one of them, frankly, to a large degree, that think of focus modes as, okay, I turn off my phone, I turn off my ringer or the ability to accept a call or social media notifications or whatever, as opposed to what it sounds like using a focus mode to customize your phone.
Yeah, and Mike Schmitz, because Mike Schmitz and I just want to talk about the same things, or he talks about the things I want to talk about, touched on this a few years ago, but I decided to go into it with a little bit more, like a different angle on it. That, yeah, most people think of a focus mode as I'm trying to go to sleep and I don't want work to bother me, or I don't want this person to text me all night long because they're apt to do that. And instead, you can do a lot with it, that you can create a pattern so that what do you care about the most right now? What do you want to see right now? And what do you want to ignore right now? So that the phone isn't there just by default. I give a framework of it. It's like moving into a house. You could just leave the furniture that came with the house, or you could make it your own, and you can arrange it how you want to and arrange the house like you want to, so that you're out running errands. You could have a focus mode that is just on errands, your task list, your shopping list, everything you need to do. You're at work now. You don't want to get pestered by your games telling you, hey, wouldn't now be a great time for you to play this game? You're working and you want to see that. Or maybe you're winding down for the end of the day and you just want to relax and make sure, right now I'm on vacation and I mentioned that, and work messages all day long, each other on Teams and in emails. And I could just get peppered with emails. I'm on vacation. I don't want to see any of that right now. So making it so that your phone supports what you're doing, not just in life in general, but at that moment.
Okay. I'm the more you talk, the more I'm thinking that I have not paid nearly enough attention to this. Because it sounds like I may be using focus modes, and I admit that I am very limited in my focus mode use. But I don't think maybe I've thought about it broadly enough to, to bring apps to the fore and to, well, just like you said, customize it, make it support what I'm doing at a given time of day, or maybe weekday versus weekend or trip or anything like that.
Yeah, I kind of thought of this so I'm not throwing my friend under the bus, but I have never met a human being who needs a focus mode in her life more than that. We're out bird watching at the crack of dawn, and suddenly she's like, "Oh, why is this coming? Why am I getting this message about this now? Oh, now I can't relax." And I'm like, "Dude, you need a focus mode. We're out with the birds. You should be having your birding apps on your desktop. You should, peaceful, tranquil things that support your relaxation, Yeah.
Okay, so how do you feel? And we always say we don't want to give the presentation here, and you've done
Right.
a great job, I think, of explaining what we can expect to get. So let me take a different tact. Is this primarily focused on the phone, or does this focus? Sorry for the pun. Or does this also focus on the Mac and maybe say an iPad?
Yeah, iPad and the watch, because the watch also respects focus modes. And so it's a way of just putting everything towards it. And as we know, these devices can share focus modes. So right now I turned on the focus mode not to bug me because I'm going to be talking to you. And so my watch, my phone, my iPad all respect that.
Okay, so you set up one focus mode and then you share it with all your other devices so that everything is sort of in sync with what it is that you're focusing on.
Yeah, I think we think offhand that when we have all our devices, we have a discipline problem. We're looking at notifications at the wrong time. We're not focused on the things that we're supposed to be doing. We don't know where our shopping list is or our bird watching app is at that very moment. And I don't think most of us have as much of a discipline problem as we have a design problem, that we did not design our phones to help us as best it could. It is capable of helping us through whatever it is we're trying to do.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to answer one question about focus modes, and forgive me if that steps on anything here, but I am notorious for setting up a focus mode, turning it on, a simple focus mode, Joe, just a real simple focus mode,
Yeah,
turning it on,
right.
and then forgetting to turn it off. And then
Oh,
wonder
right.
why, well, nobody's called me or I haven't gotten any messages or anything. And then it's like, oh, yeah. Is there a way around that?
There's ways of setting up schedules, and that's one of the things I am going to talk about is how you can set it up so that it goes on at a certain schedule, or it goes on while you're driving your car, and do the different ways that you can get your focus modes to enable at any given time so that you don't have to think about it, because you're absolutely right. So I will have this recording system on. Don't bug me. I'm talking to Chuck. Leave me alone, right? And that's my focus mode at the moment. And then I'll forget, and then I'll say, I thought you were going to let me know what time we were going bird watching tomorrow morning, because I never turned it off.
And that a couple of those experiences may have been the things that pushed me away from doing much with focus modes. Maybe I just didn't go into them quite deep enough when they first came out to realize I could schedule them or do some of the things you're talking about.
And I'm going to talk too a little bit about people who should never be kept out. That these are your emergency contacts. And if they contact you, I told my friends, I'm talking to you, so they're not bugging me at all. But there's some people I want them to be able to text me anytime because it's important, or call me in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping. So I'll talk a little bit about that as well.
Okay. Every time I talk to one of the speakers, I feel like not only do I get homework, but I know that I'm going to come home from Macstock with more homework.
Yeah. I do come back with a lot of things from Macstock, of things I want to try, and ideas for me to look at. And boy, I'll tell you the truth that I haven't looked at some of the ones from the last one, and I realize now it's a little bit of a kick that I need to start doing that, or start to backlog a little bit. But yes, there's so many good functional ideas about how to make your technology work for you instead of it being a hindrance to you.
That's a great term, functional ideas, because it's so easy to go through the web and pick out all these things. Oh, well, your Apple Watch could do this, and your Apple Watch could do that, and your iPad could do this, and your iPhone could do that. And yeah, great, okay, but those really don't apply to me. And when you go through some of these sessions, I know I take. Well, I used to take handwritten notes, and then that gave up on that. So now I keep a keyboard in front of me, to make sure that I'm capturing everything, because there's just so much information that comes at you. Even the sessions that I really didn't think would apply to me, or that I would have, with no disrespect intended, maybe minimal to no interest. It's like I come away with ideas, thoughts. At the very least, it triggers something, even if it's not exactly what the presenter was saying.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think in the end, we want to live with our technology more intentionally instead of it just being this default notification box or a way of distracting us from the things we're trying to do instead of enhancing the things we want to do. And that's, I think, been my focus. Like I said, the last time I talked about Apple Health, all of us have, maybe we have Apple One, we have fitness, we have different things. Use the things that you already paid for. And that's what, like I said, this is. Now you bought all these devices, use it so it benefits you the most.
Do you find yourself getting frustrated with the fact that, well, we're theoretically on the cusp of a new version of iOS, that they announce all these great features and we really don't, short of going out and doing it ourselves, we look and ooh and ah over them, but we really don't have a great way of digging in and getting all that can be gotten out of some of these features?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it would be really frustrating for the developers who put their heart and sweat in making the iPhones and the iPads and the Macs so fantastic. They are productivity machines. They can help you attain any goal that you have. And most people use them as computers and phones and watches, and they don't dig into everything it is. And I guess that's one of my specialties that I do with almost everything I buy. I learn the heck out of things. And then when I first buy something, I get my new iPhone or I get my new watch, I spend 2 weeks setting it up, making it perfect, making it exactly what I want it to be. And then I never pay attention to it again unless something changes. And it is beneficial, I think, to, spend the extra effort, a couple of hours to set something up so that it reflects you.
And I'm thinking back to your other presentations, your last two presentations of Macstock. It doesn't surprise me a bit that that's the way you spend the first 2 weeks, that you really dig deep and get intense with this stuff. And now we get to benefit from that, those of us that maybe don't do that quite as much as we should.
Well, I think it's nice because people are eager to hear what they do as compared to my friends, where I'll sit there and I'm driving with my friends and bird watching and say, oh, I just wish there was a way that I could get Bob to text me, but not Sally. And I'm like, oh, there's a way to do that. I spend my whole life with technology. Oh, I just wish I knew where my passwords are. Oh, there's a way to do that. Apple can actually help you with that.
So when was your first, I know when your first presentation, let me try again. I know when you first presented at Macstock. Were you an attendee before that?
No, I was not. I don't know why I wasn't. I really, honestly, I got into, my first device was the first iPad. Then I got into the 4S phone. And then I didn't own anything. And then right before the pandemic started, I bought my first MacBook used from Allison when I was out on the West Coast, and I didn't do much with it. I didn't do anything. It sat in a box, kind of sat over there, and it sort of acted like a laptop. And then it wasn't really until I was stuck in this house during the pandemic with lots of hours to do that I actually started digging into it and learning it and understanding it better. So really at the same time I started going to Macstock as a speaker, I started really power using Mac and Apple materials.
Yeah. I ask because I'm always intrigued about what brought people to Macstock for the first time. I mean, some of us, we migrated from Macworld, and some of us, went because a lot of our friends were going. But now Mike has done such a great job of growing the conference and expanding things and expanding the things that are talked about, that I wish I could find a way to get more people to say, yes, it is a commitment in time. It's an investment in money. Sure, I get it. But you're going to come away with so much, and you're going to have so much fun that it's, and I know people get sick of hearing us talk about it like, we're headed to Nirvana or something, but it really is one of the best weekends of the year for all the reasons.
Yeah. I think what I was surprised with, because I've been to tech conferences before and have watched things, and very few times did I see them being good for the average user. A regular person who wants to do better on their Mac or do better on their iPad. And this, like most of this is so practical that I walk away with so many ideas. It isn't some highfalutin, over your head, and I try to be that person too. I try to be the person who helps people on a ground level use your things better, no matter what it is. And I used to be in software. I mean, that's how I've been working in the software industry since, I started in Windows 95. And that was always my thing. How can I help you use this thing better? And when you go to Macstock, that's the most important thing you hear. I want to help you use your thing better. I want you to find the perfect app or use this in the perfect way. And it's all practical.
And look, there are some discussions that are a little more advanced.
Oh, right.
But there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I kind of like some of those because they challenge me, they pull me in that direction. And even though I might not have the competence in a given program or a given procedure, it shows me, oh yeah, I could do that. And it's not just a matter of flipping a switch, because that's going to be sort of the way that I'm approaching it. My talk, is something a little more, not basic, but a little more everyday practical. And yet, those sessions that take me farther than that pull me along just as much as the basic sessions. So again, Mike has done an amazing job of finding speakers and picking topics, and it's
and I'm hoping that this is the case, is that I'm also going to talk a little bit about shortcuts that will help you do better with your own life, because I do want to speak to a variety of different, and everyone's at a different place. Like you said, I framed my knowledge of Apple as a tree that was growing back at the first Macstock, or maybe the second Macstock. But anyway, it is a tree that was growing. And so I started there, and I hadn't yet used shortcuts. I hadn't done some of the higher level things. And so you're right. There's a level for everybody. And hopefully this, even if you are high level, you'll hear things that say, oh, I didn't know Apple could do that. But even if you're in a medium level, you'll say, oh, this is something I want to look into and figure out how to do something I didn't even know Apple could do. That's over my head right now, but I could go home and learn about that.
And that's the thing. Yeah. You can go home or you can pick up there and then go home and refine it. But those presentations make me want to go and learn it, and the biggest challenge that a lot of us have is just time. So
right. That is.
We need more of that.
I think it's getting easier and easier to learn things. I mean, I feel like I have a weird tech niche, whatever, because I talk about technology, but I don't actually show you, like I'm not a demonstration person, because I have confidence that people can go home, and if they know the word focus mode, they can Google or search or AI focus mode. How do I set up focus modes on my iPhone? And you'll get a full list of instructions on how to do that. So I feel like Macstock, in a lot of ways, there's some tutorials, there's some talking about higher concepts that you could go home and try yourself, and a little something for everybody.
I agree with you, but I
Mhm.
also think it's important to, and sounds like you're going to be doing just this, that you're going to show us what can be done.
Mhm.
So, you're showing us the cake. You may not be showing us how to sift the flour
Right.
and melt the butter, but
Mhm.
don't you love the metaphors? But,
I d
but you show us what that can look like and inspire us to go and do it for ourselves.
Yeah, I think once you know this term, because that's how I learn, at least that's how I learn, is as soon as I know there is such a thing as shortcuts, and a shortcut could potentially do this, I can figure out how to search or figure out how to do it. I just didn't even know it was possible. And you're right. I didn't know a cake was possible. Now that I know cakes are possible, now I know I'm going to go try to do it. There you go.
And now
Doing
I'm
the cake.
hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cake.
sorry. Mike always gives all the speakers a code to save some money on attending Macstock. You said that you don't care if anybody uses yours or not, which
Yeah. I would love you to use your code. Yeah.
okay, well, if
I would love you.
I'm going to cheat on Jill. If I can find her code, I will put it in the show notes, and I'll put it right down here in the lower thirds. But if not, my code is MacVoices. So, go. It'll take $50 off your ticket. We're giving the codes out for all the speakers. You can't stack them, so you have to just pick one. And I really don't care who you pick. I'm more interested in having you go to
Yes.
macstockconference.com, register, and join us, because I can't tell you how much fun we have. I can't tell you how many things you will come home with, and I will come home with, because of speakers like Jill.
Oh, thank you.
So, Jill, I want to make sure, though, that folks can maybe get a sample of all your other things, because you do a lot.
Yeah, I have an eclectic list of interests, but right now I have a technology podcast, which was my very first one in technology, which is Small Steps with AI. I just want to help people use AI in everyday life. I'm not going to tell you how to vibe code or create a headless business with 150 Mac minis sitting there. I just want you to do stuff for your daily life and how you can use it and use it more effectively. But you can find everything I do at jillfromthenorthwoods.com.
Great. But that's only one of the podcasts you do.
That is just a website that shows all my podcasts
It
and
shows all the
YouTube. So all my
podcasts.
so all my podcasts are on YouTube, and all the links are right there that you can.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good. Okay, so folks, go check it out, because Jill's a little content machine. She really pushes it out, and it's all interesting.
Oh, thank you.
Jill, thank you so much. It's great. I'm delighted you're going to be a speaker again. I'll be anxious to see you again in Woodstock, Crystal Lake this year. Sorry.
Right.
And we're going to have a great time.
Oh, well, thank you, Chuck, for having me on. I appreciate you doing all of this and then also including me too. Thank you.
Hey, it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Folks, one more time, macstockconference.com. Again, if I can find Jill's code, I'll let you know. If not, use mine, MacVoices, save a little money, but join us in Crystal Lake, because we are going to have a fantastic time. We really want to meet you and see you there. Until the next time, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.